There you go. All
Okay.
right. So good morning. Good to meet you.
Good evening for me. Yeah.
So I guess we'll just kind of start out talking a little bit here. So let me ask you this. How was it being the daughter of Senior Grandmaster Hemenes?
It's good. I mean, I don't know. The whole karate KAJUKENBO thing's been around since I was before I was born, so it's just kind of part of the whole thing. Yeah, it's good.
All right, cool. So did you so I'd imagine being a grandmaster's kid, granted I don't know when you were born and what his rank was or whatnot, but he's
I don't know. He had his own studio in San Leandro. Um, so actually, I think I don't know if when I was born if it was still at his parents' house, but when I remember going to the studio, it was in the studio in San Leandro.
okay.
So
Cool. I'd imagine you did some Kajukenbo for a while then as a youngster.
yeah, a little bit. I can't remember what age that I stopped, but we moved out of town, so it just was harder for us to get to it. But I think the highest rank I got to was like a blue belt or something like that. But yeah, it was it wasn't easy.
Yeah.
Classes were hard.
All right. All right.
Yeah.
So did you ever actually get to use what you learned in school out in real life or?
Maybe the confidence part of it, yeah. But I know I wasn't a fighter. So
Okay.
yeah,
Okay. All right.
yeah.
Um, so I understand, let's see, you just competed in the Ironman championship in
Mhm.
Hawaii.
Yeah.
How'd
Mhm.
that go?
It went really well. I was pretty nervous because where I live, it's a lot colder. Like it's just a different climate. Um, and in Kona, it is humid and hot and windy. And but the day went great. I have a coach and he had me well prepared. And yeah, it was amazing. The whole day was just better than I expected.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, for those of us who aren't, avid, I guess I want to say triathletes, maybe I don't know. I think that would be the
Yeah.
right word to use, right?
Yeah.
Um, an Ironman is basically. Can you walk us through what exactly the Ironman is? Because I know some people may not know who are watching this.
Yeah. So it's a swim bike run, and the swim is 2.4 miles. The bike is 112 miles, and the run is 26.2 miles, which is a full marathon. I don't know what that is in kilometers. I know most of the world goes by kilometers, but I don't know what I think the bike's like 180 kilometers. That's the only one I know. So yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
well,
it's a big
I
deal.
would say just finishing that, what
Yeah.
is wow, quite a thing. I mean, I
Yeah.
can imagine
Yeah.
because I mean the longest I've ever ran was probably about 8.5 miles, I think.
That's
Uh,
so good.
yeah, I always had a problem with it. I never liked to stretch much, because I've always had been flexible with the martial arts, and before martial arts, I played ice hockey, so I was pretty
Nice.
flexible as a kid, and
Yeah.
stretching wasn't always my forte.
Yeah.
Kind of sounds weird coming from somebody who does Kajukenbo.
Yeah.
But that's one of those things where over the years I kind of learned how to do it. But
Yeah.
when I was younger, I got into running a little bit, and I think it was mainly that runner's high that really got me.
Yeah.
Um,
Definitely.
it's amazing once you get to that. I mean, you can do anything. It's like so. I probably could have kept going if I wouldn't have been constrained by time. Uh,
Yep.
but being in the Navy, we had plenty of time on our hands, going out to sea and stuff. So I
Uh-huh.
myself on a treadmill just for an hour and a
Yeah.
half. Then I get up to almost 2 hours. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
You know,
No, it's great. Running is definitely I would definitely say the runner's high is real and it's pretty awesome.
oh yeah. I mean, it's kind of hard to describe, but it's a
It is.
beautiful thing. So, um, So how many people were like competing in this thing?
So this was the first year they did a women's only Ironman World Championship in Kona. So they had the men's race was in Nice, France this year, the World Championship for the men, and then the women were in Kona. And the whole reason behind that was that they wanted to give more women the opportunity to compete in the World Championship, because traditionally it was significantly more men than women in the race. So anyways, this was the first year, and it was like a historical event because it was all women. And there were, I believe, 2,100 women who competed. Yeah. And it was like the first time ever that like the swim finisher rate was 97%, and I'm sorry, 100%. And the finisher rate, like overall, was 97%. So it was a very successful day. So it was great.
Wow.
Yeah. It was
I noticed
amazing.
looking on the picture in my background there that your name's up on the top of that list there. So
Yeah, it's just the order that we come in on. I'm far from the top. I mean, this was a world championship event, so I placed like top third of my age group, so I'm happy with that. So, but yeah, I would like look at results and I'd be like, oh my gosh, like these people are so fast. I'm like, it's a world championship event. It's like the best of the best, so it's to be
okay.
expected.
So
Yeah.
how long have you been participating in the Ironman type events here?
I actually I did my very first one in 2012. And I had no business doing an Ironman, but I signed up for one, got a coach, and I was hooked. Like, and then I took a long break because I had kids, and it's just is too difficult to train that many hours and be a mom. And I got back into it in 2021, and so now I've done 6. So this is my 6th one that I just did last month. So
Wow.
yeah, that's great.
That's I mean, I guess you got to be addicted to do that
Yeah.
sort of thing to do it. I mean, it's I guess you don't have a chance of getting fat when you're doing this stuff. I mean, maybe I should sign up somewhere.
I mean, you eat a lot of food though. Like you're so hungry all the time because
Oh
you
yeah,
go,
the more you work out, the more you eat.
yeah. Like I think this build, people will go even further than this, but I think I was around 17, 18 hours a week for like probably like over a month of training. Um, and that's with a full-time job. So and being a
Wow.
mom. So yeah, it's a
Wow,
lot
full-time
of
job, mom, training for triathlon.
yeah, but it's addicting. It really is, and I love it.
Wow.
So
So,
yeah.
geez, I guess that'd just be what a lot of running, a lot of swimming, and a lot of biking.
Yeah, I work out every day. I still do. Just the volume has gone down quite a bit. Um, but it's just a lifestyle, and it's way more like being disciplined and motivated. It's just like there's that discipline factor. But you also have to be passionate about it to keep going at it, because there are days like that are really hard and you don't want to get up early to go swim or do your run after work. Like it's just like, I don't know. You just have to be really disciplined and focused.
Wow. Yeah. So I wonder if any of that, being a martial arts kid helped you with that. I don't know.
I'm sure. I'm sure I got like that drive from my dad. For sure. Like just being very focused on one particular sport and just kind of live, eat, breathe, sleep that sport for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I know he used to compete quite a bit in the martial arts world, but especially back in the 80s and the 90s, I think.
Yeah, I think most of it, I don't know for fact, but I feel like a lot of it was before like or when we were really little. I do remember going to some of the tournaments and him competing, but I mean I was young. It's hard to remember that far back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Well,
Yeah.
that's some pretty interesting stuff. So pretty consuming, I would imagine. Then you know, with your free time kind of thing, and
Yeah, I don't really have a social life, but but I love it. Like I would much rather be doing this than going out and drinking, and I don't know. I mean, I'm 42, so it's like that's
yeah,
not really what you do at 42, but I'm just saying, like I don't mind kind of not having a huge social life, because honestly, like my friends are that do this sport, that is my social life. So like I had a training partner this training block, and it was great. So I feel like I did get my socializing when we're on a 6-hour bike ride together, chatting and whatnot. So yeah, that's
oh,
great.
yeah, not a big thing, right? You know, it's normal.
It is when you're training for an Ironman. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I mean, for the rest of us, we're like 6 hours on a bike. You know,
Yeah. Yeah. I
I mean,
know.
my muscles hurt already just thinking about it. You know, it's just one of those things. You know, I mean, uh,
Yeah.
you know, and I remember, you know, we used to like in the Navy, because I was in the Navy for 26 years. You know, that was the easy version of doing our physical readiness test, would be getting on the bike. Um, you know, but that's not easy. You know, it seems easy, but then you're using a different muscle group than, you know, what you would use normally, I guess. So then you'll be
Yeah.
sitting there, you're at your desk trying to do your job, and you're just like, oh,
Yeah,
something's
exactly.
cramping up and getting a little crazy. So wow. And
Yeah, yeah.
so is it hard to transition between the different things? Because I know, like, obviously swimming is a total body kind of thing. Then biking is primarily what, I guess, hips and legs. And
Yeah, I mean, I actually, so before I got into Ironmans, I ran marathons, and I was just continually getting injured like over and over again. And it was so frustrating, which is why I like randomly signed up for an Ironman, not being a swimmer, didn't cycle, but I ran, and I was like, oh, I'll just do this. And had no idea what I was getting myself into. But I actually find that having those three sports and working those different muscle groups actually keeps me healthy. Because if like you're just running all the time, like it's just one set of muscles that you're using, not to mention it's like high impact, where like swimming and biking is low impact. So it really breaks that up. And I don't know, I mean, like you pretty much like, I don't know, I think between all three sports, like it's just a really good workout. Like overall, like you're just, I don't know. I'm biased though, so
yeah, because I was kind of curious about that, because I know when I got into running, when I did, I think kind of what ended it for me was I ended up getting plantar fasciitis,
yeah, it's
which
a
is
common injury.
a very painful thing.
Yeah,
And it doesn't seem to heal that quickly, you know?
tendons never do.
Yeah.
So,
So,
yeah.
I mean, nothing like waking up in the morning, stepping out of bed, and you're like, feeling like you stepped on a big shard of glass, and you're like, what the heck was that?
Yeah, exactly. That's a very, actually for runners, that's extremely common injury.
Yeah. I mean, if it wasn't for that, you know, who knows? Maybe I would have been doing Ironmans too. I don't know. But I mean, it was, you know, one of those things where, you know, I was running and I was running and I was running, you know, I felt like Forrest Gump, and, you know, and I just didn't, you know, once you get to that point where that runner's high kicks in, I mean, I found myself, next thing you know, I'm almost sprinting on a treadmill after
Oh
I rode
yeah,
about 7 and 8 miles. You know, I'm like, this is awesome. Yeah.
yeah, totally. Yeah,
And
it's yeah.
I could see how you could hurt yourself. I mean, you're just like feeling so good. Um, and just to keep on going. But so you're saying that you're thinking just the I guess the using the different muscle groups, so to speak, maybe kind of help balance things out a bit, as well as, you know, obviously if you're not just doing just the running where your feet are pounding on the ground. But
Mhm.
that's like the biggest part is well, maybe not.
And the bike's the longest.
Yeah,
Uh,
mile wise.
yeah, well, and time. I mean, but I mean, the running is like what I'm strongest at. So, but the bike usually is, if you're really good, you're in the 5-hour range. If you're, you know, I don't want to say average, but like average to like mid pack, you're in a 6-hour range. So, I don't know, it's a pretty long part of the race.
So if I'm kind of squinting here trying to see it, but it looks like 12 hours and something. Is that what that says?
No, I was 11 hours and 35 minutes
Ah,
for that
wow.
race there. Yeah.
Okay. And that was for like how far of a swim? And
The 2.4 mile swim. Swimming is not my specialty. I
yeah.
struggle in the swim. And this was an ocean swim. Like you can't wear a wetsuit. But to be honest with you, it was amazing. It was so beautiful. And like, I thought I would be really, I've never swam in an ocean like that before. So I was pretty nervous about it, but it ended up being amazing. And like, I got used to the swell pretty quickly, and you're way more buoyant like in the ocean than I expected to be. So, I ended up having my best swim time in Kona. So that was like huge shock. Yeah, but it was great. The swim was great. And then the bike, we got lucky. Usually it's a very windy bike course. The heat was there, obviously the humidity, you can't avoid that in Kona. But my coach was like drilling into my head, like, you have to pace the bike. You have to stay on top of your hydration, because like there are other, like fourth discipline, they call it, is your nutrition on race day, because you're out there 11-12 hours or more, and like you have to be on top of that, especially in Kona, because the humidity like will dehydrate you so much quicker than like a typical course. So anyway, the whole bike course was just about like pacing, getting your fueling in, your carbs, your electrolytes, all of that. And there were definitely points on the bike where I was like, oh man, there's a blowtorch on my back. It was really hot. But yeah, it was just, you're in the lava fields and like you can see the ocean to the side, and it was amazing. It was just incredible. I've like watched this race on TV for like over a decade and was like, I'm never gonna get there. And then you finally do, and you're like, I'm here. This is like so amazing. And like, so I don't know. I think the whole day I was just super grateful for the opportunity. So I kind of like had that with me all day. And I think that really proved to be like helpful, because I ended up having my best race ever. And then once I got off the bike, it was the winner of the course. So you run right behind like the finish line. And the woman who won the race was coming in, finishing as I was going out on the run. And I was like, oh man, put things into perspective here. So yeah, and then on the run, I just paced really well. And I had a goal of running a sub 4 hour marathon not particularly on that race, because there were so many unknowns, and I just didn't know how I was going to go and how I would react to those like conditions. And somehow I pulled it off, and I ran a 3:51 marathon, which is like an 8:45 pace. So I was very happy. And that's after all, the bike and the swim. So it was a phenomenal day. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a pretty fast marathon. I don't know what the typical marathon pace is.
Yeah, I think it is like for especially like during an Ironman and going sub 4, it's definitely a fast marathon, because your legs are very tired by the time you start the marathon.
Yeah.
So I'm very proud of that, and it took me 6 tries to do it, but I finally got it. So yeah, it was like, I don't know, running down that finish line, it was just like I saw like 4 different friends. I saw my husband, like just all spread out, and just knowing like I had such a good day, and just like the history behind that race, and just like going down Alihi Drive, and just like, I don't know, I took it all in, and I was like, not only did I like finish this race and like my best time ever, I'm running a sub 4 hour marathon, all these people are here cheering me on, like that I know. And it was just like, I don't know. It was, you can't like describe the feeling, but like if I could bottle it up, I would. Like it was, it's like, I don't know. It's this, you talk about a runner's high, like finishing an Ironman is like 10 times. It's just like,
So you already
ah,
got the runner's high. You're coming across the finish line, and now all of a
yeah,
sudden,
yeah. It's just like, I mean, the feeling is just like, it's addicting. And I honestly think that's why people get addicted to Ironman, because the finish line is so intense and so emotional in so many ways. You put so much work into that one day, and then like you finally have your day, and no matter how, in my opinion anyway, no matter how fast or slow you cross that finish line, it doesn't matter, because like it's still a really hard long day, and you just have to be proud that like your body carried you that far. I don't know, I think it's amazing.
well, I
So
think it's amazing just to complete such a thing. And I mean, to me,
exactly.
you know, whether or not you're the winner of the race or not, you know, I
Yeah.
mean, you're a champion just for finishing. I mean, to me, that's just phenomenal. I mean, to
Yeah.
swim that far, bike that far, and then after seeing the winner run past you, continue to finish that that course. I mean, that's like in itself is just kind
Yeah.
of like a, you know, a testimony to your discipline and I don't know if I want to use a funky word, but it is a word. It's in the dictionary. Stick to itiveness. To make it through such a challenge, I guess. I don't want to say ordeal, but you know, it really is. I mean, it's a self-imposed ordeal, but
Yeah.
you know, it that to me is just kind of it's amazing, and I congratulate you on that. I know your father's very proud of you.
Yeah.
You know, because I spoke to him obviously before I spoke to you. Uh,
Yeah.
and I mean, he's very proud of you, and rightfully so. You know, you've done quite a well job of yourself, and I mean, this isn't the first time you've done this either. That's the amazing thing to me is like, wow, you've done it more than once.
Not a one and done.
You know, but it must be something that is something that you know, gets addictive, and I understand the addictiveness of the run kind of thing, but the rest of that all put together to me is just like, wow, I could imagine it. You know, maybe, you know, you felt the same way years ago. Um,
Yeah.
but it's you know, it's definitely a major accomplishment, and I congratulate you on that. And you know, I look forward to seeing you wave to somebody someday as you're going over the finish line and they're starting their run.
Yeah. Yeah. To put it in perspective, the female that won was 3 hours faster than me. So it's just incredible. Yeah. That what people can do.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, you know, I guess that you know, working on the swim, working on the bike or whatnot, maybe that, you know, is what you got going next or something. I don't know. But
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I do it for the personal challenge, and I
yeah.
don't expect like any I'm 42. I'm not expecting like anything to going pro or something, but I do
Yeah.
enjoy the challenge, and yeah.
Well, I, you know, I couldn't understand how there's like a pro version and an
Yeah.
amateur version, you know. I mean, to me, that whole thing is kind of, you know, if you make
Yeah.
it to me, you know, I'm thinking you're a pro, you know,
Yeah.
so you got that going for you. So
Yeah.
good job on that. And we all congratulate you on that, obviously. And glad to see you doing well on that. And, you know, I think that the discipline that you must have just to push yourself to get through that. Because I remember just when I was doing the little bit of running that I did,
Mhm.
I'd always like just a little bit more, just a little bit more. Okay, I'm just going to do another 5 minutes, another 5 minutes. You know, and next thing you know, I went from, you know, starting out doing, you know, 25, 30 minutes to, you know, an hour and a half, you know, and I'm like,
Mhm.
whoa, how did I get
Yeah,
here? You
it's
know?
great. And that's basically what racing an Ironman is. It's just like breaking it up into small sections, but to keep moving forward. And mentally, you just really need, to be honest, I think Ironman is more mental than physical. Like you just, because you get into a dark place many times, and you just have to like pull yourself out of it and focus. And yeah, the things you learn out there, like there's always a lesson to learn, and that carries over into everyday life. So
Hmm.
yeah,
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, it's like when you watch these guys that go out there and, like, for example, the Navy SEALs, they put those
yeah,
guys through, through hell basically.
yeah,
And a lot of people think, well, why do they do that? It's, why do they just got to mess with them? Well, no, it teaches you something. I mean, you can learn that, I guess, a couple different ways. One, by going through, Navy SEAL training, but the other, like doing what you're doing the Ironman training, you kind of learn the same thing about that whole mental game, and how much more capable your body is of doing the things that you can do. But you would never get there unless you forced yourself to do it, you know?
yeah, definitely. I mean, your mind gives out before your body, and that's where you have to like really focus like on the mental aspect of things, and that I'm sure it's the same in training. Um, for what was it, the Navy SEALs you said?
Yeah, yeah. Navy, well, any of the spec ops type
Yeah,
fields in the military, kind of
yeah,
thing.
no, yeah,
It's all a mental mindset,
yeah,
and I think that's and it's kind of incredible, really, when you think about our world today. And when you talk to, kids, I can't do this anymore. I just can't, and you're looking at them going, really? I mean, I'm not asking
definitely.
you to do an Ironman here. Uh,
Yeah.
kind of thing, so I mean, it's definitely, a testament to your self-discipline, and your drive, and definitely something you should be very proud of. And hope to see you
Yeah,
keep on doing good things, and hopefully you'll continue to do this, and think you've got a great attitude moving forward, and uh it's kind of neat that you've kind of got that, I'm doing this for me and not for, the glory of,
exactly.
winning the race kind of thing or whatnot. Who knows? Maybe one day you'll get there. I don't know. Um, who knows?
Yeah,
But I mean, just training to do this. I mean, it's got to be a pretty amazing journey, I would imagine. Uh,
yeah, and I think the training, to be honest, is just as rewarding as the finish line.
yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Cool. But
Yeah,
well, what would you say to anybody who's an up and comer, and some advice?
I think anyone's capable. I think if you, as long as your mind is in it and you really want something, you can make it work. Like if there's a will, there's a way. And I I mean, anytime someone wants to get into triathlon or running or whatever, I'm like, I'm your biggest fan. Like I will cheer you on because I know the benefits that I've had from endurance sports. Um, they're lifelong, and I'll never not be an endurance athlete. So I just stick with it, and you can do more than you think you can. Like, the limits that you set are your own limits. Like those limits are just barriers you're setting, and you need to break through those barriers. So yeah, sky's the limit.
Just keep on keeping on.
Yep.
Yep. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, good job, on the part of the World Wide Kajukenbo Federation. I salute
Yeah.
you.
Thank you.
It's a very, very good job. We appreciate you taking the time to sit down and talk to us about this. And I'm glad that we were able to do it. And I know your
Yeah.
dad's
Thanks for
watching this.
asking.
He's probably
Yeah.
going to be watching. He'll probably watch it a few times, I'd imagine. Yeah,
Maybe.
yeah. But I know he's very proud of you, and
Yeah.
what you've managed to accomplish, and rightfully so. You should be very proud of yourself. So thanks
Yeah.
again for taking the time to sit down with us. And you know, I wish you all the best in the future, and hopefully you continue to do this, and
Yeah.
inspire others to get out there and do that.
I love that. Yeah. Great.